When a woman goes months without contacting you, it can feel confusing and even painful, but the first and most important lesson is that absence often reveals true intentions. Stoicism teaches us to observe actions rather than words because actions always carry the weight of reality while words can be fleeting or misleading. In the realm of relationships, this principle is vital. If someone truly values you and prioritizes your presence in their life, their actions will consistently reflect that. When months pass without a call, text, or effort on her part, it tells you something undeniable about her priorities, emotional investment, and perspective toward the relationship. This doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't care at all, but it does indicate that maintaining regular contact with you is not currently a priority for her. Understanding this through a Stoic lens helps you avoid emotional overreaction. Many people, when faced with prolonged silence, instinctively panic, overthink, or begin chasing the other person, desperately seeking reassurance. This behavior, while natural, often backfires because it communicates neediness rather than strength. Stoicism, however, encourages observation without attachment to a desired outcome. By calmly acknowledging her absence and what it signifies, you gain clarity about her true intentions without letting your emotions cloud your judgment. Furthermore, noticing her absence also provides insight into her patterns and character. Some individuals naturally pull away during moments of discomfort or uncertainty, while others retreat when they are not fully committed. By seeing this behavior without imposing a story or expectation on it, you begin to understand not only her motives, but also her emotional maturity. Recognizing these patterns early allows you to make informed decisions about your own engagement rather than being manipulated by hope or assumptions. Another critical aspect revealed through absence is your own response. Stoicism emphasizes that while you cannot control others, you can control your perception and reaction. Her silence is outside your control, but your ability to maintain self respect, continue living your life fully, and remain composed is entirely within your control. This period of absence becomes a mirror reflecting your strength, patience, and emotional discipline. How you respond or don't respond shapes the narrative far more than our actions themselves. Finally, understanding that absence reveals true intentions helps prevent wasted energy on illusions or false hope. Often, people create stories about why someone is distant, attributing their absence to external factors or temporary challenges. While life circumstances can play a role, prolonged silence repeatedly demonstrates priorities. It's a clear signal to examine whether the relationship is balanced, whether your efforts are reciprocated, and whether your time and energy are being valued. Recognizing these truths doesn't require confrontation or bitterness. It requires calm observation, a key Stoic practice, and an unwavering commitment to seeing reality as it is. Ultimately, when she goes months without contacting you, her absence speaks louder than any words ever could. By observing, not reacting, and maintaining your self respect, you gain profound clarity about both her intentions and your own strength. This realization is liberating, not punishing, because it empowers you to respond wisely rather than emotionally. The second key point when a woman goes months without contacting you is that her silence is often a reflection of her own internal state rather than a direct judgment on you. Stoicism teaches that people's actions are more about their perceptions, fears, and priorities than about us personally. If she doesn't reach out, it may not always be about disinterest or rejection. Sometimes it's about what she's navigating internally, emotional confusion, life stress, or unresolved feelings. Understanding this helps you interpret her absence without taking it personally or letting it disturb your emotional equilibrium. When someone steps back, it provides a crucial opportunity for reflection on the nature of her behavior. Stoics believe in observing life objectively, and absence is no exception. By seeing her silence clearly without assumptions or emotional exaggeration, you gain a perspective on the situation that is grounded in reality. You start to recognize patterns of inconsistency or avoidance, which can reveal deeper truths about her attachment style, emotional availability, or capacity for commitment. These observations are valuable because they show you not only how she operates, but also how compatible her behavior is with your standards and expectations in a relationship. Her prolonged absence also highlights the dynamic of desire and value. Humans naturally value what is scarce, and absence creates a kind of psychological space where the mind reflects on what has been taken for granted. When she doesn't reach out, it gives her the opportunity to notice your presence in her life, your qualities, and the space you occupy. Stoicism, however, reminds you not to manipulate this process. Your goal is not to create longing artificially, but to recognize that absence often reveals true feelings, either hers or yours. If she eventually realizes your value, it's because of the natural dynamic of distance and self reflection, not because of pressure or chasing. Additionally, her silence serves as a test of your self discipline and focus on your own life. Stoicism emphasizes that you cannot control others, only your own actions and reactions. During these months of no contact, your challenge is to remain steady, continue improving yourself, and maintain your sense of purpose. This period is less about her and more about your ability to live according to your values without dependence on external validation. If you respond with anxiety or chasing, you undermine your own strength. If you stay composed, you demonstrate emotional resilience and self respect, qualities that are inherently attractive and magnetic. This stage of absence also allows you to evaluate the relationship from a distance. Without constant interaction clouding judgment, you can see more clearly whether she is truly invested in you or simply passing through your life. Stoic philosophy teaches detachment from outcomes, and in this case, detachment helps you make decisions that are rational rather than emotionally reactive. You learn to value your own time and energy, and to recognize that silence often communicates more than words ever could. Ultimately, her months of silence are a mirror reflecting both her inner state and your ability to remain composed, disciplined, and self aware. It's not a punishment, it's a revelation, giving you clarity about her priorities, your compatibility, and your own emotional strength. The third key point when a woman goes months without contacting you is that this period of absence often triggers self reflection for both parties, revealing true feelings and priorities. Stoicism teaches that we should always observe situations objectively and without attachment, and prolonged silence provides the perfect environment for clarity. When she doesn't reach out, it strips away distractions and forces both of you to evaluate the relationship, the emotional investment, and the authenticity of the bond. For this time apart may stir awareness of what she has in her life and what she may be missing. For you, it's a chance to measure your own emotional stability and ability to live independently without relying on her validation. Her silence can also reveal hidden intentions or insecurities that she might not openly express. People often avoid direct communication when they are uncertain, conflicted, or fearful of vulnerability. By not reaching out, she unconsciously gives herself space to understand her own emotions, and you gain insight into her emotional patterns through observation. This is where Stoicism becomes invaluable. It encourages you to view her behavior rationally without assigning unwarranted meaning or letting it trigger feelings of frustration or resentment. Her absence may be uncomfortable, but it is an opportunity to understand her mindset and recognize whether her actions align with her words and claimed intentions. Another significant aspect of her not contacting you is the way it highlights your own value in her life. Humans are wired to notice absence and scarcity, and when someone withdraws, it often brings the other person's presence into sharper focus. This is not manipulation, but a natural psychological response. Distance allows her to reflect on what you mean to her and whether she truly appreciates your qualities. Stoicism teaches detachment from outcomes, so your role is not to force this realization, but to continue living with integrity, confidence, and purpose. By staying consistent in your own life, pursuing your goals, and maintaining emotional composure, you create a framework in which your value becomes undeniable, not through pressure, but through your actions and character. Her extended silence also acts as a test of your self control and personal growth. Stoic philosophy emphasizes mastery over one's own emotions, and this situation challenges you to maintain calm, focus, and rational thinking. The urge to reach out, seek reassurance, or demand explanation can be strong, but resisting it shows maturity, discipline, and self respect. This period is an opportunity to strengthen your sense of autonomy, to invest in yourself, and to develop a mindset where your happiness and fulfillment are not contingent on someone else's attention or approval. Lastly, months without contact often clarify the real potential of the relationship. When emotions and ego are removed from the equation, you can objectively evaluate whether the bond is worth pursuing, whether her priorities align with yours, and whether she has the capacity to value and respect you appropriately. Silence removes the noise, allowing truth to surface naturally. In essence, her months of absence provide space for insight, reflection, and growth for both her and you. It reveals priorities, tests character, and underscores the importance of living independently while remaining emotionally grounded. The fourth key point when she goes months without contacting you is that this silence often serves as a mirror, reflecting her true feelings and intentions more clearly than words ever could. Stoicism teaches us that actions, not words, are the ultimate measure of character, and her lack of communication is no exception. In those months of absence, the consistency or inconsistency of her behavior outside of direct interaction speaks volumes. It reveals whether connection to you is genuine, whether she values your presence, or whether the attachment was merely superficial. Silence strips away the illusions and forces both parties to confront reality without emotional manipulation or distractions. Her prolonged absence also often triggers subconscious realizations. Humans naturally notice voids and gaps in their lives, and absence can make the heart grow fonder, but only if there was genuine regard to begin with. Stoicism encourages detachment and observation. which means you learn to watch her behavior objectively without projecting your desires or expectations onto it. If she misses you, reflects on your qualities, or internally evaluates the relationship, it becomes apparent through subtle cues when she does reappear or communicate. If she remains indifferent, that too becomes clear, and it prevents wasted emotional energy on someone who cannot reciprocate or appreciate your value. During this period, your own response or deliberate non response plays a critical role. Stoicism emphasizes self mastery, and in this context, it is about maintaining composure, confidence, and independence. By not chasing, not seeking validation, and not reacting impulsively to her absence, you demonstrate strength, self respect, and emotional intelligence. This not only protects your peace of mind, but often paradoxically prompts her to recognize your worth. People frequently underestimate what they have until it is no longer readily accessible, and your calm, controlled detachment highlights your value without manipulation or force. Another important aspect is the growth and self reflection that silence fosters. While she is absent, you are given the rare opportunity to reflect on your own feelings, patterns, and expectations. Are you relying on her for validation? Are you giving away too much attention or energy to someone who does not reciprocate? Stoic philosophy stresses the importance of self awareness and internal strength, and this period is perfect for cultivating both. You gain clarity about your priorities and the type of relationship you truly desire, ensuring that when communication resumes or when the situation naturally resolves, you engage from a place of grounded wisdom rather than reactive emotion. Moreover, months of absence can often recalibrate her perception of the relationship. The void you create by stepping back allows her to confront her own emotions without your presence clouding judgment. She is forced to evaluate what she truly values, what she may have taken for granted, and whether the bond with you is meaningful enough to pursue further. Silence becomes a tool of revelation for both parties, stripping away superficial expectations and revealing the core of emotional truth. In essence, her long silence is a reflection of authenticity, a mirror of feelings, and a natural test of both her intentions and your self discipline. It allows for emotional clarity, personal growth, and an objective assessment of the relationship's real potential. The fifth key point when she goes months without contacting you is that this extended silence often reveals the depth of her emotional attachment or the lack thereof. In the absence of daily interactions, texts, or calls, the true nature of a relationship comes into focus. Stoicism teaches us to value actions over words, and in this context, her inaction communicates volumes. When someone genuinely cares, even during long periods of separation, subtle signs often emerge, checking in indirectly, keeping mutual connections informed, or showing small gestures that indicate thoughtfulness. Conversely, if her silence is complete and uninterrupted, it is an unambiguous signal about where her priorities truly lie. It strips away all pretenses and forces you to see reality clearly without the emotional fog that frequent communication can create. During this period, your response, or more importantly, your lack of reactive response, is equally significant. Maintaining composure, focusing on self improvement, and avoiding impulsive attempts to seek her attention demonstrates self respect and emotional resilience. Stoicism emphasizes that our inner state should not be dictated by external circumstances or other people's behavior. By remaining steady and calm, you not only protect your own peace of mind, but also naturally command respect. This silence from your side is not passive, it is a deliberate, strategic choice that shifts the power dynamic subtly. It communicates that your life and value are independent of her attention, which paradoxically makes you more attractive because emotional security is inherently appealing. Extended silence also encourages introspection and personal growth. Without constant interaction or the need to respond to her moods or messages, you gain space to evaluate your own feelings, goals, and boundaries. Are you overinvesting in someone who is not reciprocating? Are you allowing your emotional energy to be dictated by someone else's presence or absence? Stoic principles guide us to cultivate self awareness and autonomy. During this period, you can strengthen your emotional intelligence, reinforce your sense of self worth, and refine the qualities that naturally make you more magnetic. Growth during absence not only benefits you personally, but also elevates the quality of any future interactions. Furthermore, her absence may trigger reflection on her part. Human psychology often works such that the things we lose or perceive as distant gain significance. By remaining silent and present in your own life, you create a natural contrast that can lead her to reassess the relationship. She may begin to notice what she took for granted, reflect on your positive qualities, and recognize the value of what she might have overlooked when you were always available. Silence acts as a mirror, forcing both parties to confront emotional truths that constant contact can obscure. Ultimately, months of no contact are less about manipulation and more about revealing authenticity, priorities, and emotional clarity. It is a natural test of both her feelings and your own self mastery. By remaining steady, focusing on self growth, And observing without judgment, you gain insight into the true dynamics of your connection. Silence is not absence, it is an instrument that fosters understanding, respect, and emotional discernment. The sixth key point in understanding why she goes months without contacting you is realizing that absence creates a psychological shift that often brings clarity to both sides. When someone disappears from your life for an extended period, it forces a pause in the emotional narrative. Humans are wired to evaluate relationships when routine interactions stop, and this period of silence can reveal unspoken truths about attachment priorities and personal values. Stoicism teaches us to accept reality as it is without imposing wishes or frustrations on others. In this context, her silence is not a challenge to manipulate or a puzzle to solve. It is a reflection of her choices and a mirror for your own emotional discipline. During this time, your response or deliberate lack of response is crucial. By not chasing, not overanalyzing, and not reacting impulsively, you demonstrate self control and inner strength. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of remaining indifferent to external validation while maintaining focus on your own character and growth. Your calm and steady demeanor communicates that your sense of self and your life are independent of her actions. This is a subtle yet powerful shift in the relational dynamic where you no longer operate from neediness or insecurity, but from a grounded position of self respect. People are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally stable, and this stability becomes a silent magnet that can trigger reflection and reconsideration on her part. Extended periods of no contact also allow for introspection. Without the distraction of constant communication, you gain clarity on your own emotions, needs, and boundaries. Are you investing in someone who doesn't value reciprocity? Are you allowing your happiness to be determined by another person's attention? Stoicism teaches that our primary responsibility is to cultivate virtue, wisdom, and self mastery. This period of absence provides the perfect environment to strengthen your emotional resilience, refine your personal goals, and focus on the qualities that naturally increase your value in any relationship. Growth during silence is not about proving a point to her, it is about becoming the best version of yourself, regardless of external outcomes. Moreover, absence can heighten her awareness of what she may have taken for granted. Humans often undervalue what is always present, but distance creates contrast. By living your life fully and silently, you create a space in which she may begin to reflect on your qualities, the consistency of your character, and the comfort of your presence. This reflection is not forced or manufactured. It is a natural psychological response to your non reactive stance, highlighting that emotional scarcity often increases perceived value. Ultimately, months of no contact function as both a test and a revelation. It uncovers authenticity, exposes true priorities, and strengthens your emotional independence. By remaining composed, focusing on self growth, and allowing time to reveal what actions and inactions truly mean, you gain insight and clarity. Silence, in this sense, becomes not a void but a powerful tool for discernment, self respect, and genuine relational understanding.